Growing up in Northern California, I was blessed with experiencing all of the different crops grown here, from walnuts to rice to apples to almonds. Bees play an important role in pollinating the diverse crop species within Northern California, and even the entire United States. I always knew bees played a vital role in the agriculture industry, but it wasn't until recent years that I realized just how important they really are. I currently work for Macy Jane's California Sunshine Products, which is a local grower, processor, and packer in Chico, California. We specialize in producing almonds, which are a crop heavily reliant on pollination from bees. Macy Jane's dedicates a significant amount of time and money to ensuring that our farming practices are not harmful to our hardworking little coworkers. For every jar of nut butter purchased with the Save Our Bees logo on it, we donate 5 cents towards bee research. We also partnered with the Xerces Society for Invertebrate Conservation and the Harry H. Laidlaw Jr. Honeybee Research Facility at UC Davis in order to further the research in regards to the decline in bee populations. However, there is still conflict between farmers and beekeepers on how to protect the bees. Since the 1990s, bee populations have been declining, and they were attributed to colony collapse disorder, or CCD. With the knowledge of CCD, it sparked public interest because it was not the only threat to bee populations. Pesticides containing neonicotinoids, or neonics, make bees more susceptible to mites and viruses that are causative factors in CCD. When neonicotinoids are used on crops, the plants absorb the chemical and spread it throughout the plant's tissues. And when the insects eat the plant tissue, pollen, or nectar, it affects the insect's nervous system, thus killing it. Farmers use pesticides as a preventative measure because it's essentially a cheap insurance policy for themselves because it guards against pests and potential problems associated with them. In a study done by Ag Informatics with 14 academics and commissioned by companies like Syngenta and Bayer, neonic insecticides boost yields by 2.8%. In 2015, the EPA published their proposal on mitigating the risks associated with pesticides and honeybees, which would be to restrict foliar application of a pesticide from the onset of flowering until flowering is complete, when there are bees under contract for pollination services. This restriction does not allow farmers to spray for pests when they need to, which could allow pests and diseases to further distribute themselves within that time period. Beekeepers earn a living through the production and sale of honey, pollination services, and bees, and when pesticide-induced bee kills arise, problems begin. Bees are responsible for more than $15 billion in crop production annually in the United States, yet 2/3 of beekeepers in the United States are suffering colony losses greater than 19%, which is considered economically unsustainable by the U.S. Department of Agriculture. Bees are killed when they come in contact with foliar applications of pesticides containing neonics, and the foliar residues on plant surfaces can remain lethal to the bees several days after pesticide application. However, there may be a way to meet in the middle with both stakeholders. To avoid having pesticide residue affect bee colonies, beekeepers could move colonies to another location during the time of spraying, but this option could also be difficult to finding a place to move the colonies. Another alternative option would be to use FieldWatch, a web-based tool to help identify when and where spraying would occur, so communication between the grower and beekeeper is more efficient, and beekeepers can move the colonies before spraying. Bees are attracted to flowering plants, and that is how the pollination process begins. With that knowledge, farmers could resort to nighttime application of pesticides because bees forage during the daylight hours, especially during temperatures above 55 degrees Fahrenheit. Beekeepers have raised concern that most pesticides do not contain pollinator language on labels, which ultimately results in farmers not knowing the potential effects it could have on bee populations. Increased communication between farmers and beekeepers could help resolve quite a few of the issues at hand, but for now, the bees will keep buzzing in hopes that their buzz will not further be killed.